Hey everyone, Jason here at Xendurance Corp. We got a special guest today, Cooper Marsh. Coop's one of our Team XND leaders. Coop, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So, I get a lot of feedback from our distributors and leaders, and one of the things is I did a video on 5 steps on how to duplicate, and the hardest step in there is how to invite. And today we're going to talk about how to invite, but I call it the art of inviting, because remember these words as we go through this: circumstantial and relationships. I don't think there's just one way to invite, so the art of inviting is what we're going to talk about today. And I kind of simplified it into 4 points if I were to be the one inviting, and it's going to be who, how, what, and where. So Coop, let's talk about who. And when I say who, starting with like your contact list, what's your who when you started in this business?
The who's who. So my who, right? My contact list would be anybody on my social media friends group, right? Anybody that I'm close with that wants to maybe look into the business side of things, who's a little bit of a go-getter. People that I come across in social gatherings. You got to really be open-minded and able to understand that really anybody is on your contact list as long as you've practiced the art of inviting enough. So that'd be my who.
Awesome. So how are you connecting with these people?
Like I said, social media, but phone call, text message, in person, and then anybody that I meet, if I I'm able to just kind of get their contact information, maybe I can turn them from a cold lead into a warm lead, potentially through email or a friend of a friend.
Awesome. So you're from the Northeast, and obviously you're here at corporate office in Arizona. What has been the easiest way to connect with people? To give more information about the business opportunity, or just to talk about the products?
I mean, ideally, the best way to connect with people, because it's kind of twofold for me, because I'm a transplant out here. The best way to connect with people back home, right, is to reach out via Instagram, or talking about that duplication process from last week. Helping reach out to people through the use of people that I've duplicated. And then out here, it's recognizing the groups that I'm in, right? I play at a pickup soccer league on Thursday nights. I'm at a CrossFit gym. Any of the athletes that we work with, outside of the XND sphere. So just kind of being open and able to, communicate with people.
Cool. All right. So number 3 is the hardest, and it's what? What are you going to say? And this is the biggest obstacle that I hear from our distributors, and this is where the keyword circumstantial is. So I believe every conversation or every relationship you have is going to be different, and this part of what I believe, this is where you need to learn your audience, and that's where the invite becomes the art. So for you, what is the what? What do you say to someone? And you can give different examples.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, circumstantial, right? Knowing your audience. So I'll give 2 examples. If I was talking to an athlete, right? Somebody that I could connect with, maybe in the CrossFit space or in the soccer space, starting off with a warm compliment is always a great thing to do no matter what circumstance you're in. But then, talking about the product and why I believe in it, and how it could help them, right? And then if you spin the tables a little bit, take yourself out of a context that maybe you have knowledge about, right? And move yourself into a situation where you don't maybe have the same background, right? So if I was talking to like a mother, I might not share a ton in common with the mom, but I do know, right, that the mom's kid is on a soccer team, right? And I play soccer, and I know that I can cramp up if it's really hot out. So maybe I can provide a little bit of relief and a stress reliever for her, or help out her son, right, or daughter, by recommending the electrolytes or something like that. And then in turn, maybe it'll stimulate her and make her a little interested in it as well. So just trying to pick up through normal conversation with somebody what it is that they do, the interests that they have, and then spinning that to be able to approach the topic.
Awesome. So I want to just elaborate and give my opinion too. So for me, obviously, circumstantial is huge, and every conversation is going to be different. So me learning my audience, I personally am always going to lead with product, because that is how I learned about Xendurance and the one product, Extreme Endurance. I know can change people's lives. So I will always find common ground with someone why they can use that product. And so 90% of the time I'm going to lead with that. How would you approach someone, and what would you say to someone that you don't know? Say you come across someone at like Starbucks, and the conversation, the guy who checked you out went so well, and you're like, and I hate to use the word salesman, but like you could be a very good salesman. What would you say to him from the business opportunity aspect?
I mean, I think the first thing I would do would probably be, if he checks the box as like a personable individual that, could connect with others, I'd probably find out their background a little bit, right? What's their schedule look like? How long have they been working at that job? Do they, find, it very interesting, or are they looking for more? And then go down that path, right? If there's somebody who's looking to be like an entrepreneur and run their own business and want freedom and have the time to do so, right? Or a limited amount of time, but are willing to put in some sweat equity to grow their business, then I would approach them about, the idea of, connecting with me even further, maybe pulling in one of my mentors or something, and, having that discussion around the business.
Awesome. So yeah, just to elaborate on that too, if I were to run into someone at like Starbucks, I'd probably approach it, we had a great conversation, I'd probably build a little rapport, see if there's something I can relate to that person with. Start number one with a compliment, and say, hey, I work with this great company and we could use someone like you. And I would leave it at that, but I'd probably come back to that same Starbucks, and maybe I'll come back with a sample and be like, hey, we had a great conversation last time, give this a try. Tell me if you have any interest, and I'll probably leave my business card with them.
Social media, text, reach out via email if you're able to get their contact info. Whatever means necessary to get in touch with people. I think there's a big stigma around always having to call, and I think that's a bit old school. I believe a phone call is what you should go towards, but I do not think that it needs to be the initial point of contact.
Right.
Especially in today's day and age, people are much more likely to ignore a phone call, but be able to sit with and then eventually respond to a text, a DM, or an email or something like that. So I think it's all circumstantial, and that's kind of how I would approach, or how, like you said, how you would approach, somebody who's a totally cold lead, or somebody that you might have that runs within your circle.
Absolutely. Okay, so after the what, where are you going to direct them? So let's talk about, say you approach someone and it's about, you identify that they are going to be a product user with a discount. So where are you going to direct them?
I mean, I think it's essentially like the 3 and the 4, the what and the where are kind of like a 3-4, right? They go together. So if you're going to get somebody interested, right, first things first, they need to be a user of the product, right? You can't be selling something that you don't actually believe in.
Absolutely.
And so if you are, giving them a sample to try, then boom, you've already directed them to the product. And then from there, right, if they want to, take on being a Team XND member just for the discount, then you're just going to, direct them to your link. They can buy off your website, or they can join, under your team. And, volume users definitely have their place within business building, especially for those people trying to reach those thresholds at right at the beginning of pro and captain, that don't have legs necessarily established yet. So do not shy away from having somebody who just wants to be on the product. And at the end of the day, that person might tell somebody inadvertently about Xendurance without even trying to grow their own brand, and that person might be a Team XND business builder. So,
right.
Absolutely, you're going to push them to product regardless of their intentions, right? That's why we have it listed as product or product and business. Product being in either one. They must be on the product, right?
Sure.
No, ifs, ands, or buts. And so, giving them the sample, then, pushing them towards actual, Xendurance interface. So website, your own back-end website.
If you're passionate and you believe in something, they will never stop you. And like you said, if you're on the product, for me it was as simple as I took it, I felt it, and I shared it. And that passion, and that passion drove me to just want to share it with people. You also have to understand that you're offering them something that's a huge value to their life, whether it's health or financially.
Yeah, and another thing I want to tell you guys, from somebody who, has practiced the art of the invite and continues to practice it, although it's scary, remember to lean on those that have, succeeded around you. So if you're a little nervous about the invite, don't be afraid to get somebody on with your mentor, right? Get that three-way call, right? Get on a Zoom call, whatever it is you need to do to have yourself feel comfortable, but also have that backup ammunition of the person behind you that is ready to rock and roll to help you succeed.
Hey guys, quick recap on the art of inviting. It's going to be who, how, what, and where. Number one is going to be who, so the contact list, your social media outlets, network groups, church, your gym. Number two is going to be how. How are you going to connect with these people? It could be in person, it could be a call, a text, a DM, Marco Polo, a three-way call, a Zoom call. Number three I want to highlight because this is the most important. What? What are you going to say to that person to invite them? This is where it becomes circumstantial because there's not just one way to invite someone to an opportunity. First, you want to learn your audience, ask questions, open-ended questions, build rapport. Once you build a relationship with that person, you're going to identify where to invite that person. And in the XND model, there's two places to where you can invite them. So that leads us to number four, where. If you've identified that they're just going to be a product user, you're probably going to give them a sample, maybe your business card, send them a link to the product videos, maybe a product brochure, your link, and also let them take advantage of the discount. The second option of where to send them is going to be if they're a product and a business builder. So you can send them to our mission video, a three-way call with a mentor, a Zoom call, or even a weekly workshop. One of the biggest hurdles in inviting is the fear of rejection. Okay, you're oftentimes going to hear no. This is just business, marketing, and sales 101. It's as simple as take it, feel it, share it. And if you have passion and belief behind something, there's no stopping you. And remember that you are adding value to someone's life in two different ways. Their health, and now financially.